This is Sindam Patel and welcome back to the video lecture series of the Fundamentals of Machine Design. In this lecture, we are going to learn about the standardization, preferred numbers and few more concepts related to them. This is another lecture of the theoretical part and you will find this application into the preferred numbers and standardization methods. So this will help you to answer any question that can be asked in your examination up to the 3 to 5 marks. So it will be helpful for you to score. Let's see the first slide, that is nothing but the theoretical part of the standardization. So we will see about the standardization. The standardization is defined as an obligatory norms to which the various characteristics of the product should comply with the standards. Now there are a lot of standards. We have learned about the standards. We know about it. We hear about the standards of the different countries as well as different companies. So standardization is defined as the obligatory or the compulsory norms to which the various characteristics of the product should comply or agree with the standard. So whatever standard that you are following, your product should follow that standard rules and norms and the complications so that it gets through from that standards. Okay, so the characteristics includes the materials, dimensions and the shapes of the components. So that material of the component should be up to the standards, as per the standards. The dimensions of the components should be as per the standards. The shape of the components also should be as per the standards, and the method of testing and method of marking, packing and storing of the product should be also as per the standards. So whenever we are dealing with the multinational company, or whenever the company is exporting one product from one country to another country, what happens sometimes that the hosting company or the importing company, importing country will demand their standards to be complied, that the company should provide the products according to the importing country. So when for example, if we are exporting the products which are manufactured from India to America, then the American standard should be followed into that product in each and every norms, whether it is a material or its shapes or its dimensions or its testing, marking, packing. Each and every norms should be followed in order to provide the products up to their standards. Okay, so the procedure through which we are complying with those standards is known as the standardization. So the standard is defined as the set of the specification of the parts and the material or the processes. So the objective of the standard is to reduce the variety and limit the number of items to reasonable levels. Now what happens sometimes that people which are importing the components from one country to another country are adaptable to the particular design, and they do not want to change that particular design into a number of varieties. So that what happens that whenever they order that particular product or a component, then they will demand the as per the standard. So the main advantage of these standards will be that then there will not be any variety into the components. They need to just verify whether the final product is is up to the standard or up to the mark or not. Then the component and the final answer will be there. So on the another hand, a code is defined as a set of the specification for analysis, design, manufacture and testing and erection of the product. The purpose of the code is to achieve a specified level of the safety. So whenever a component is designed, there should be the code which will achieve the specified level of the safety. There are 3 types of the standards used in the design basically, and the first standard is the company standard. So whenever a company is making a product, and that product is the monopoly of the company, then company would demand company will create the standards which will be applied among the company. So that particular product will be as per the standard of the company. If that products goes out of the market, goes out into the market, and if we want to change any component as if you want to change any component for the maintenance or the repair purpose, then what happens that the product components will be available into that particular company only. You will not get the similar product or the component of the same dimension and the material into the market because those particular components are as per the standard of the company, and that's why this type of standards will be applicable in the product when the company demands the monopoly in that when the company holds the monopoly in that particular components. Now we will see another types of the standards. Those are the national standards and the international standards. That government sometimes impose the national standards, like the India has imposed the BIS. It is nothing but the Bureau of the Indian Standards, which gives the brief description about the different products, their shapes, their materials, their strength criteria, and based on that standard we can any manufacturer can design a components regarding the that particular design. So each and every manufacturer product should meet that particular standard in order to get accepted into the market and for the selling point of view. Germany has its own standard, that is the DIN, Dutch Institute for Norm. USA is having its standard as a AISI. UK is having its standard as a BS. These are the just an examples just to give the overview how the national standard works. Now there are also few international standards, and these are prepared by the International Standard Organization, shortly abbreviated as a ISO. Now whenever a company is having the certificate of the ISO, it means that the company is complying its product with the international level standards, and its product is its products are certified with that certified so that their products are certified with that standards, so that their products are available up to the mark as per the standard. And that's why any company from international level can buy that product if it is complying the ISO standard. So nowadays many companies are trying to achieve the ISO certificates in order to sell their products in the international markets. Now we will see another theoretical portion, that is the preferred number. Now what is the preferred number? With the acceptance of the standardization, nowadays globally standardization is accepted, there is a need to keep the standard sizes or the dimension of the component or a product in a discrete steps. That we may have a component but we may not have the size of the component fixed. In the different application, the size of the components gets changed, and that's why the sizes should be spread over the wide range. As per the application, your component should be available in the wide range of the dimensions. At the same time, this should be spaced properly. The dimensions should be spaced properly, because what happens sometimes when you are having the wide range of the dimensions, then if it is not spaced properly, then the manufacturer will and the designer will get confused at the time of the selection of that particular dimension, and that's why the dimension range should be spaced properly. For example, if the shaft diameter are to be standardized between the 10 mm to 25 mm, then the sizes should be like 10 mm, 12.5 mm, 16 mm, 20 mm, 25 mm, not like a 10 mm, 11 mm, 13 mm, 18 mm or 25 mm. Each and every spacing should be defined properly. As you can see in the previous spacing, there was a gap of the 2.5 mm, and this gap should be should be increased as per the requirement. Okay, so this led to the use of the geometric series known as a series of the preferred number and or the preferred series. So this series can be developed by any designer and can be adopted by the designer, which was provided in the into the pre-open market. So preferred series are the series of the number obtained by the geometric progression and rounded off. Each and every number should be rounded off. there are 5 basic series with the step ratios of under 5th root of 10, 10th root of 10 and 28th root of 10, 48th root of 10 and 80th root of 10. So these are the basic 5 series which you need to consider while making the preferred series. These ratios are approximately equal to 1.58, 1.26, 1.12, 1.06 and 1.03. So the 5 basic series of the preferred number known as a preferred series are designated as R5, R10, R20, R40 and R80 based on their root. So as you can see, this is the 5th root series, this is the 10th root series, this is the 20th root, this one is the 40th root and this one is the 80th root. The example of the preferred number series are standard shaft diameters and power rating of the coupling, center distances of the standard gearbox, etc. So these are the components which can be designed according to the preferred series, and it will help them to interchange those components as per the requirement. So what are the advantages of the preferred number? The advantages of the preferred number are quite a few, and as you can see on the screen, the difference in the two successive terms has a fixed percentage. So the difference in the two successive terms has a fixed percentage or the fixed ratio. So the ratio is fixed, and that's why you can directly find the next number or the previous number as per the fixed target. Okay, so it will be easier for you to find out the next range of the series or next dimension of the series. It provides the small steps for the small quantities and large steps for the large quantities. As I said earlier, that the steps in this preferred number are the fixed and the range also is fixed, and that's why for small quantities the steps amount will be the smaller, and for the large quantities it will be larger. So it will give you the better preferred series as per the requirement of the application. The product range is covered with the minimum number of the sizes, with restricting the choices of the customers. And that's why as per the customer you can restrict the minimum number of the sizes, and it will give you the better interchangeability into the working condition. So these were the advantages of the preferred number. Now what we have learned into this lecture, that we have learned about the standardization first, that is globally accepted, and nowadays different standards are going to be applied into the even into the small scale industries, because the small scale industries are trying to make their space into the international markets, and they are trying to export their goods into the international market. In order to sell their goods, they need to produce their goods up to the standards, and there are lots of standards available. As we have seen, there are a company standard, national standard and international standard. Based on their target of selling into the national or multinational companies target, they need to provide the products as per the different standards, and that's why standardization must be applied in any company in order to achieve the better selling conditions. Then we have seen that there are preferred numbers available to provide the standardization into the different components, and this will give you the proper spaced range of the dimensions into the number of components. For example, if you are designing a shaft, then you will have the proper range of the dimension of the shaft, like the diameter of the shaft and the length of the shaft, in order to achieve the proper applicable range of the and interchangeable range of the shaft. And that's why whenever you need to replace the failed shaft with the new one, then you don't have to find out the standard values as per the requirement. You can directly find the values from the preferred series and the preferred number in order for the purpose of the interchangeability. So these are the advantages of the preferred number and the standardization, and this concept is getting widely applicable into the each and every industry, and mechanical engineer and as well as the designers must know about those concepts in order to design accordingly. That's why this was the main motto of this lecture. We will see few more concepts into the upcoming lectures regarding them. So we conclude our lecture over here. Thank you.